Welcome back to the next episode of Conquering Kalimdor. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be starting off by building my player house. I started off by starting to make some iron reinforcements and steel reinforcements. I had planned to make the base of the home out of tier 3 materials, which requires a lot more rare materials, such as the steel reinforcements, hardened brick, and such. You can see there I'm making the outline of what's going to be the main hold of the base. I'm going for a more cylindrical type of shape. Right there you see me putting up a door frame. I was going to make several rooms, and then I decided to make just one big hut. The arena is what I chose as the base of my, base. The first layer is going to be arena, which is tier 3, while the upper half would be wood, insulated wood, which is tier 2, and requires a lot less rare materials, such as shaped wood, insulated shaped wood, that is, and iron reinforcements. You can see I'm having issues with the roof. That's because you do have to build with structure, and there was little structure left on the roof, so I built a couple of pillars to help give it some strength so I could continue building the roof. It took me a while to play around with the pillars. That's why you see me disassembling that one at the end there. Once I pretty much built the shell of my base, I went into my feats and I started learning some various decorative items that I feel that would fit the theme of an orc. I also went to the Horde workbench, and I also built a couple of stuff too. Some things, though, are not from this map mod, and some of them are from the additional World of Warcraft themed mod that I added. See there, I put a little bit of a water trough. That's where I plan to put my horse. I built a fence around my house, and now I'm going to put down some stakes, because they're going to have mounted on them some skulls. What's an orc without skulls and spikes? You could always use more skulls and spikes. I even put spikes on top of the roof. I had to go up there eventually and place them, as trying to place them from below was a little bit too difficult. And now I'm starting to add the lighting, because it was a little bit too dark to see. So I added a couple of braziers and a couple of torches around to light it up. Now I'm starting to place the decorative items. You can see I put a shelf next to the cooking station. I'm putting a couple of potion bottles, some wine bottles, and various other types of knickknacks to help make it more homey, lived in. I'm putting up some armor stands, because one side of the base is going to be where I'm going to house all of my trophies and various armor equipments that I collect or build. More skulls, because you could always use more skulls. I tried putting it up on the shelf and it didn't work, so I put it down below instead. I even put one on top of my throne. You can see I started to put some pelts as well. The smaller little horde symbol that was behind my chair just now, I decided to put it on top in front of my house. And I put a larger one, the one that was outside of my workplace, inside instead. Now my player house is done. It's not fully finished yet. I still need to add some more decorative items, but it's perfect for now. You can also see my treasure trove right there underneath my chair. Now that that's done, it's time to build up some equipment, and we're going to go out into the Barrens. I first built a sickle so I can go and harvest some more aloe so I can make more potions. I also have a bunch of silver and gold dust with ichor that I used to build alchemic base. The alchemic base is used to make very high-grade items such as hardened leather, layered silk, and so on. And you use that to build the stronger equipment. Luckily, though, this horde gear did not require that more difficult equipment, so I built a couple of pieces so I looked more orcish. And because it's hardened steel, it's a much higher grade armor that I had on originally. I gather my followers and my horse, and we prepare to go out into the Barrens. I ride out the back door because I figured we were going to start with the northern half of the Barrens first. It's a nice shot in the morning light. Now that I'm better equipped and I have followers, I decided to take on the lion that's been giving me issues the last couple of episodes. He still hit me pretty hard, and he could cause bleeding damage, so I decided to let my followers take the brunt of it while I come in from behind. It also didn't help that I forgot my shield. Now that the lion was taken care of, I decided to harvest it. And look at that, demon blood. For some reason in Conan, lions give demon blood. I don't know why, but that's actually something that I needed in order to make most of the orcish equipment. I then take the lion baby. I can turn that cub into an actual lion pet for me to use. I give it to Gru, since Gru is my keeper of items, as he were. I ride up to the Northern Venture Co. cave. Now, the outside of it, which normally would have had Venture Co. enemies, only had orcish warriors, and they were friendly. So, I decided to look around a little bit. I had the horse stay outside so it wouldn't follow me inside. I went into the building, but there was nothing really of value in there. I decided to head into the mine instead. And that's where I find enemies. I wasn't quite sure what they were because they were trolls and orcs. But then, as I got closer, it revealed their name. I do not understand German, so I was not quite sure what the word after that "wat troll" was. I don't know what it means. Clan Loser Orc Brigand actually sounds pretty funny, but even though Clan Loser sounds pretty funny, I'm assuming it means clanless. Though that's just my interpretation of what I think it means. There were a bunch of white wolves in the cave too. White wolves are considered mini bosses, and are quite difficult alone. However, with my group of orcs, we were able to take them on, especially multiple of them at the same time. I then harvest the wolf fur, because I could always use more of that for my decorative items. As we were killing out the last wolf, a random night elf showed up. I decided to charge her first. It took me a little while, but I finally defeated her. And she dropped high quality loot. We finish up with the wolf, and I harvest some silver ore that was up on that wagon right there. And then I come across more enemies. One of them was larger than the other one, and sure enough, when I hit them, they had the skull next to their name, which meant mini-boss. We took out her followers first, since they seemed pretty easy. Then it was just time to kill her. She did some pretty good damage on me, so I had to back up and take a potion. She climbed up onto the iron ore, trying to get away from us. I charged in to try to get her. Then suddenly, she decided to go flying and said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." I looked all over and I realized she spawned up top above the cave. And by looking at her nameplate walking around, it seems she was confused too. Once I finished up that room, I headed back to where the night elf was, because I realized that's another room that I had not been to, so I decided to head along inside. It was an entire another room filled with undead. Luckily, they were not too difficult, and we defeated them. There were some Darfaris in there for some reason, but they didn't really have anything of value. As I started to leave the cave, we came across some respawns, because I had been in that cave for a while. They dropped some pretty decent loot. I took a lot of the hardened steel items because I could use those and disassemble them. I then found another mini-boss, the Orc Bandit. I moved over to the troll though and fought him while my clan members took out the orc. Once they were defeated, I gave off some of my items to my followers. Most of them were upgrades to their weapons. I took the steel bar, gold bar, and then I noticed a bow. At first I didn't think anything of it, and then I went back and checked again. Sure enough, a star metal bow. That's a very high quality weapon, and I took it for myself, of course. As I headed back out, I waited too long, and it seems my horse had gone home. Well, I guess I'm gonna be walking on foot for the rest of the journey. I walk over to where the sludge fen would be. Unfortunately, there were nothing around. There were no scaffolding, no enemies. I even looked into the water and I didn't really see anything. I then went to the tower where you would find the rogue quest. And there were a couple of chests up top, so I did loot those. It had some good things that I took, but nothing really much of value. Once I left there, I then went to where you would find the Samaflange quest. There was no building, but there were some ruins with Darfari. Luckily, Darfari are a bone-tiered enemy, and they're very easy to kill, so I took them out with ease. I was going to walk into the ruins, but then I noticed spikes on the ground, which means trap. Normally, you don't find traps outside in the world, only in dungeons, so it was kind of surprising to see those there. I then decided to head off to the barrier where the entrance of Ashenvale would be. Now, I cannot enter Ashenvale as of right yet. I thought I could at least get a peek into the zone, but the green barrier was preventing me from looking in there. I then head up to where Warsong Gulch would be. And what in the hell is that? Is that what I think it is? Sure enough, a freaking Tauren. Not only that, they used a human model and stuck a Tauren head on top of the human model. I thought this was the most hilarious thing I had ever seen. I head inside and found another Tauren. Again, I just could not stop laughing when I first saw that. I head on into the cave. It is much bigger than it is in-game. However, there is also a portal there, which means that there has to be a dungeon there at some point in the future. I climb up and gather some of the gold from the obsidian node. I continue on. Now, this camp right here, so in the game, is supposed to have Burning Blade orcs. There were no Burning Blade orcs, but there were some humans. Black Corsair fighters. I took them out fairly easy. Once I defeated them, I headed up the mountain where I found some demon-looking creatures. I remember these are from the Sipta map, I just do not remember what they are called. Now, this mountain where I'm at, in the game, actually has demons on it, and it's where you perform several quests. I killed them and gathered their loot, which they did have some pretty good loot on them, such as the black ice, which I need in order to smelt the star metal. I head up to the cave, but it looked like there was a lot of powerful enemies inside, and it took quite a long time just to kill the two, so to have an entire group of them in the cave was a little bit too much for us right now, so I skipped it. I headed off to where the harpies would be. I didn't see any harpies, but I did see a boss rocknose, a crystal rocknose rather. I defeated him along with a couple of other rock noses in the area. It took a while, but we did manage to finally take him down. I harvest him with my star metal pickaxe to see what I got. Demon blood, crystal, and brimstone. That's very good. I needed all of that, including the ichor, and he even dropped alchemic base, silverstone, and goldstone. Wow, that was a good haul. It started to turn dark, and when it's dark, I could barely see. So I decided to set up a little bit of a campfire and have a little bit of a roleplay moment. I stuck some meat on the fire, cooked it up, and just waited until morning. Though camping in the Barrens is not particularly safe. As I look out, you can see the glowing eyes of the rocknose nearby. One of them came forth from the shadows to attack us at the campfire. I kept an eye on the other ones, but they seemed to stay where they were at for now. Further into where the harpy area is, I did finally find harpies. They were weird looking, not quite from the vanilla map. I assume these are from the Sipta map. One of them was easy enough, but then I looked over and I saw one that looked more demonic than the other ones. I'm guessing that's the boss of the area. I decided to rush in and pull it back, where it gave off a very powerful wing buffet which nearly killed me. I pulled away and waited until my followers could help aggro the enemy, that way it wasn't on top of me. Sure enough, 3 skulls, which means world boss. However, it didn't have as much health as a normal world boss would have, so we were able to defeat it, though it did take a lot of damage from us. All I had on them was some decaying Eldarium, which I still haven't found a use for as of yet. I harvest more demon blood and abysmal flesh from them, and continue on, where I find a field of tigers and elephants. I was going to charge at that elephant there, but then, out of the corner of my eye, oh shit, a white tiger. The white tiger came from the corner and started attacking the elephant. Now, white tigers are world bosses, unlike normal tigers, and they have a lot of health. So I decided to skip around the tiger for now, and then, out of the corner of my eye, I see a baby elephant. While the tiger was distracted, I figured this was my chance to go in and grab the elephant baby. I grab it, give it to one of my followers, and continue on to the Forgotten Pools. I head up to where the centaur Barak would be. There was no leader, but there were some followers of Jebel Sag, so I rushed up with my friends to try to defeat them. Most of them were getting stuck on the edges. I don't know if that was just their coding or if there was something wrong with the platform. But once I defeated the Forgotten Pools, I figured this playtime had gone on a little too long, so I decided to stop and rest in Crossroads, where I will end this episode. The next episode, we will be heading down south into the Southern Barrens. And I'll see you then. This concludes this episode of Conquering Kalimdor. If you enjoyed watching this, please subscribe, as I will be posting more videos on my adventures with this mod weekly. Like the video and feel free to comment below. Thank you for watching.